from the NewsChannel 5 network. This is the Plus Side of Nashville.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Plus Side of Nashville. I'm Tawanda Coleman. Thank you for joining us. You know, in spite of the pandemic and all the uncertainty it entails, we continue to hear stories of success, positivity, and hope. COVID has placed a tremendous amount of strain on a lot of our nonprofit organizations, yet they continue to honor their missions and offer help and services to those they serve. My guests today are with Dismas House Nashville, and zooming in with us today will be Kretsch, the interim CEO at Dismas House, and Gary Schwegmann, who's a graduate of the Dismas House program as well as the facilities manager. Hi, Gary and Kay. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hi, Dwana. Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. Well, I love the wonderful work that you do there at Dismas House Nashville. And Kay, you're right now the interim CEO, but you've been a part of this program. You've been a part of the board. You helped at a big capital fundraising campaign. So you're very invested in this program. For those who may not be familiar with it, could you give us a little bit of the history and the background of Dismas House Nashville?
So Dismas House has been around for 46 years, and we had an old house on an empty lot next door on Music Row, and it was always our goal to expand our program and services. And so over 5 years ago, I came on the board, and the board asked me if I would lead the expansion project. And we really had hoped that we could have expanded in our old footprint, but the historic overlay and what was going on at Music Row just didn't make it possible. So we set out with a blank sheet of paper to design the new Dismas House and found a perfect piece of property on 2424 Charlotte Avenue, and now have a 72-bed facility. So we have gone from 8 beds to 72 beds this year.
That is
and
wonderful.
All the growing pains that come with it.
Talk about who you serve. Talk about the people that Dismas House serves.
Yes, so we serve men who are leaving incarceration. So we have an application process. So men who are incarcerated can go online with their case manager in prison, grab an application, submit an application to us, and tell us why they think that they are a good candidate or what they are looking for in a reentry facility. And we review their applications, we do an interview, and then determine whether or not they're going to be a fit, and then send them an acceptance letter if they meet our criteria. And Gary is one of those who, a while ago, sent us a letter. And let's see, I think, Gary, you came in January or February of this year?
February. So, Gary, feel free to jump in here, because I understand that you're like one of their star pupils. Talk a little bit about how you became to be a part of Dismas House and what you're doing there now.
I don't know about star, but like I say, in February, I was getting out of prison and I didn't have anywhere to go. I'd been locked up 3 years and lost everything that I owned. And, you know, my wife had ended up catching a charge and was in prison herself, and just things was looking really bad. And I'd wrote several halfway houses and whatnot, trying to find a place to go. And Dismas House was the only place that responded to my letters every time I wrote them. So I knew that's where I wanted to go if I could get there. And thank God that I got there right as COVID hit, and you know, I was one of the last persons they accepted, and it all worked out real good, because I got there and found out about the new building and helped them transition over and found me a job. So here we are.
I love that. Gary, I think it's interesting that you say that when you just had no idea what you were going to do when you got out of prison, nobody responded to you other than Dismas House. So what do you think you would have done had it not been for Dismas House?
I would have probably had to go to Florida and stay with my mom or something, you know, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a burden on her. You know, I wanted to be able to I've always lived on my own. I wanted to be able to do my own thing, you know.
Yeah.
New Nashville would be probably the easiest place to start over, and that's where I was headed.
Well, I know Dismas House offers lots of wonderful programs to help people just like Gary, get back on their feet, get back out into society. What are some of the programs that you offer there?
Right. So we start with making sure that their basic needs are met. So we offer food, shelter, clothing. We invite the community 4 nights a week to come in and serve community dinners and sit down with the residents and start to build that social connection to the community. We also have we focus on mental and physical health, and we have community partners to make sure that they're getting physical exams, emergency dental care, they get eye exams, and they also have access to mental health. So all of the residents here can say, I have a therapist. But sometimes that therapist is really helpful in the transition back, and also in understanding what created the event that they became incarcerated. And they probably have never really had an opportunity to deal with that. So they have group therapy. Many of our residents come to us with substance abuse problems, and we offer 12-step programs and support for their addictions. And then the other program that we have is life skills. So they have a case manager that they work with. They set short and long-term goals. They identify their triggers that could put them back. We work with Project Return. They go there for all of their career counseling and resume writing. And that group really spends a whole week with them, making sure that they're ready to re-enter the job market. And then we work with employers to help engage them in finding a job. And then lastly, the Legal Aid Society and the Tennessee Bar Foundation have worked with us. The Tennessee Bar Foundation has provided us with the funds to help them with restoring their driver's license and getting their driver's license back. And so there's so many things that the residents have to do in order to be ready to go to work. I mean, to get their birth certificates, to get their social security numbers. We provide solutions to help them get ready to go back to work.
That's fantastic. So many good stories coming out of Dismas House, and I am so excited to tell everybody about that brand new, fabulous new facility you have. And when we come back, we'll talk more about that. So stay with us. We'll be back with more The Plus Side of Nashville in just a bit.